Hey folks, here we are again, another 15th. We're going to do our video here. We're going to see if we can get Tim on board. We're going to talk to him about all the good stuff we have going on in the market in the Calvert County area. Let's add him right here. He just jumped on. So here we are. A little bit of delay. Hopefully he's in a place where we can get reception again.
Hey Billy, what's going on, my friend?
Good, good. We can hear you again, too. You found your spot inside. It's a little too chilly to be outside today, isn't it?
Yeah, the Dunkirk Starbucks is my spot. They're going to know my name. I found a little corner back here. I'm by myself.
We're being brave. We're doing this during the tournament, which means we're both missing games, and all of our folks who are jumping on are also missing games. Luckily, I've been following Villanova, so they're not playing until later. They're jumping on like at 6:50, so I should be fine. But you're not an Ohio State fan for basketball, are you?
You know, my dad is – I always followed the teams that my dad liked. He was a Georgetown basketball fan, so I never really caught on to the Ohio State basketball thing. I'm pretty objective when it comes to college basketball. I just like watching good games. It's so much fun.
Gotcha. So hopefully we get some other beaters. We already had a few coming up, so hopefully.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
All right, so we get down to it. So we're going to get down to the basics. We're going to go over some things that are going on in the market, and we're going to cover a lot of cool topics and be sure we can get you out of here in enough time that you can watch your favorite team play in the tournament. First, as we always do, is things that are going on in the area, and I got them all written down over here. So some things we got going on is this weekend we have the North Beach Big Bay Bash, and that's from 10 to 2, and it's down in the bay. Hopefully it's warm enough for something like that. So we'll find out. But there'll be plenty of things going on down there. It's kind of fun. This weekend also at Perigo Winery, of all places, Gypsy Brewing and Perigo Winery are teaming up to do like an Irish festival. And they're going to have like delicious Irish food. My wife's a huge fan of the Irish food, the corned beef and all that amazing stuff. So they'll be there from 12 to 6. They'll have wine, they'll have beer. And if you haven't had Gypsy's beer yet, that guy makes some really good beer. It's awesome. And
yeah, what was the one that he brought last time? It was like aged in a Irish whiskey cask or something?
No, it was a chocolate stout made in a wine barrel.
Oh yes, that was fantastic.
Yeah, and it was like something Cupid he called it or something like that. And you can get it in Nick's because he can't sell it out of his. He does it in of all places. He does it at Marley Run, out of his house. But he can't. He brews it in his house, but he can't sell it from his house. So he sells it all kinds of cool places. Like he's got Nick's and Heritage, and they're redoing the Green Turtle, and he's gonna sell it there too.
Okay, cool. So, that's awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, if you get a chance down there, 12 to 6. Doing it there. We also have a couple of beer releases for like Scorpions releasing a new beer. I know Mully's is releasing a new beer for the holiday too, and you go to those breweries and check them out. The 25th from 10 a.m. to 6, Calvert, Solomon's Island, and go to the Southern Maryland Sailing Association. They're doing an artwork thing. You go down there and see some local art and things like that too. That'd be pretty cool. The 25th. 29th. This one sounds fun. I might go. 10 to 11 a.m. they're doing Chalk This Way at the North Beach Community Center, where like kids can come down and do like sidewalk chalk and do like activities and stuff with sidewalk chalk. And I know, Tim, you've been over our house a few times where the kids, like the whole driveway was one giant like art piece.
Your kids are creative. Now, Chalk This Way, are you going to dress like Steven Tyler from Aerosmith? Is that how that works?
Steven Tyler. I always get him confused. Steven Tyler's with Aerosmith, though, right?
Yeah. You get him confused with
Mick Jagger. For some reason, it's just me. Yeah, I always get him confused. I don't know how. I don't know why, but I always get him so confused. I don't know.
That's okay. But we'll get you squared away.
I don't know how that's even possible. They're not even close to the same people. Whatever. And then on March 30th, 11 a.m., there's an Easter hunt at Jefferson Patterson Park. So take your kids down there, and they can do the free Easter egg hunt. So that'll be fun as well. So. Those are all the events happen. Those not all. Those are some. We don't always get all of them, so we leave it up to you to add comments about things you know that are going on in the area, or if you've got something going on or something you're attending. Man, throw in the comment box. We'd love to help you advertise. We do so much local business type advertising that we love to be helpful as much as we can with your business or somebody you know. So those are the events. Some of the events. Now, getting in some information. Sam, the question I always get, and I know you get it all the time, is how is the market? We get it all the time. That's the most popular question we always get. And so I think right now we have the interest rates are bumped up a little bit. I think we had a really fast start to the year where we had a lot of sellers that could be really picky because there was not a lot of inventory. The rates were really low. We were seeing buyers who were really qualified, really high credit scores, really good jobs, and those were our buyers at the beginning of the year. But now that we have like the rates going up a little bit, I don't know about you, but I've seen things slow down a little bit. The buyers we have are still like really qualified, strong buyers.
Yeah.
The inventory's grown a little bit. I think we're up to like 521 homes in the Calvert County area, so it's not a lot, but seeing it slow down a tad bit. Not a ton, not a lot, but a tad bit. So
yeah, same here.
what do you see?
I think we're all expecting that huge explosion of the spring market, and I feel like we're right on the cusp of that. As you said, it's slowly growing, but maybe not that huge boom that we thought we'd see. I was meeting with a lot of people within the last couple months, January and early February, who are those go-getters who want to get pre-approved early, and I'm glad that I did, because now they're prepared. We've already gotten that behind us. Some of them still haven't found houses yet, and a lot of there's patience issues. Some people are getting really frustrated, but as a realtor, you're pretty good at kind of keeping them at bay and making sure that they're patient, if they can be patient. Sometimes you can't be patient with the leases expiring or a house that you're selling, contingent offers and that kind of thing. So it's very unique, and it's one of those things that it's good to continue to stay communicated with lender, realtor, that kind of thing, even if you're not in escrow under contract. Stay in communication, because the more you communicate, the quicker you can get an offer in as soon as that perfect one comes on the market.
Yeah, that's a key word, right? The perfect one. So I think you're probably seeing this as well as we're seeing it out in the field, is the weird mix of like people that have to have their houses in really nice shape. The houses that are not being well taken care of are still they're still sitting. Like, it's not like buyers are just, I need to buy something right now, like you were saying. Like, they're really qualified, very patient buyers with listings that need to be in good shape, and it's a really interesting mix right now, I think, in our area. Am I kind of on board with what you're seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the patience issue, we go back to that word again. A lot of these buyers, I'm finding, we still have the first time home buyers, but a lot of them are those move up buyers. They're trying to make that second purchase. Maybe they've owned their house for several years, they've done work to it, and they're ready to sell and make that move up purchase. That's when you get the people who really are more calculated. They know exactly what they want. 2-car garage. Yeah, exactly. So they've been through the rigmarole of the whole process, and they know what to expect. So they know that they want to take their time and find the perfect one. And, it's tough when there's not a lot of inventory. It's just tough on everybody, except for someone selling their house, really.
Yeah, and they got to make sure it's nice. Like, it's got to show really well, because like you said, these people know what they're doing. Like, that seems to be like the crowd right now, seems to be what's going on. And we're going to talk more about contingent offers, and we're going to talk about more of that, which you just touched on. But first, let's do like credit scores. We're talking about the fact that like these buyers are their credit's good, they have solid jobs. These are the buyers we're seeing a lot of right now. So what kind of credit scores do we need to have?
Well, I think a lot of my lender buddies in the industry, we can all concur that we can sell that we can go down to low credit scores, and we have the ability to do so. But every other part of the file has to be really strong. Income has to be strong, reserves, good money in the bank, so that the only missing piece is the credit. Now, if everything else is sort of marginal or doesn't really stand out, then we're looking at, minimum 620 scores for most programs. And then when you get into conventional loans that require PMI, it's really beneficial to be 720 or above, or else that PMI is just going to be really expensive. So it depends on kind of the macro level of the file. How good is their income? How good are, checking and savings and retirement funds they have to fall back on? If all that falls into place, then we can go down to low 600s or maybe high 500s, but it's really tough. So that's why I like to talk to people early on, because if you're having a little bit of issue with credit, let's get those scores up a little bit higher, because it's going to benefit you in your options. You'll have a few different programs to choose from rather than being pigeonholed into one.
Somebody dropping some trays there.
Yeah, it's a chair.
So we're seeing the interest rates are like starting to get in like the mid fours and stuff. So people that are doing it now they're probably going to be in these houses for quite some time because I think we're going to see rates on the rise. Am I right?
Yeah, they're going to continue to rise. Fortunately, we had a really tumultuous February when it comes to rates. They've leveled off to a certain extent so far in March, which feels good for the time being. And those clients that I have that I've been talking to since February, they're kind of able to take a deep breath and realize that, maybe this is the time that they can actually lock in a little bit lower than they expected. But government loans in the mid fours. What I'm really finding is a lot of people are using some of their cash to buy down the interest rate. They already had their budget set on a 4% rate, let's say, or 4.25%. In terms of monthly payment, and they say, you know what, I know I'm going to be in this house for 20 to 30 years. Let's go ahead and spend the cash up front to have a lower interest rate. So I'm having those conversations a lot more often now than I have in the last 5-6 years.
Yeah, I can imagine. Where rates were like in the twos and threes. Those are days. Not sure we'll ever get that again, but we're not too crazy. I remember you and I talk about this quite often. That even my parents, your parents, I'm sure their first home was like 12%, 16%, and so they're still looking at us like, man, you guys are still in great shape, right?
Right. Yeah, I had a couple that I spoke to last week, and this is their move-up purchase, as I mentioned before. They bought their house, I think, in 2008 or 2007 or 8, and it was their interest rate was 8%, and they had one of those, interest-only loans, crazy financing back in the day. So to look at a mid-4 interest rate is not necessarily daunting to them. They don't necessarily have that sticker shock like some other people might if they've had a mid threes rate and now they're moving up a point on that next purchase. So it depends on the person, what they've experienced.
So you're saying, all right, so we're talking a little bit about the fact that we're seeing a lot of like buy-ups and that kind of thing, which we're going to talk about after this one, my question currently. You've seen a lot of people doing like refis to like do improvements and stuff around the house?
I've had those conversations a lot recently, and to be honest with you, a lot of times in the past the equity wasn't there because maybe they purchased too recently or the market just wasn't moving. Now we have those conversations of, okay, I have the equity to tap into to make those home improvements. Maybe they have their eye on selling within the next couple of years and they want to make some improvements to get the best, cash value for their house. The equity's finally there for these people because the market is moving north and they're paying down their mortgage, and those two things working together, cash out refinances and home equity lines and that kind of thing are now coming into play a little bit more often, for sure. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, so we're talking about the strong buyers, we're talking about the seller market, we're doing things. So really quick, I want to kind of finish off a little bit here with talking about contingent offers. And I'm seeing more and more contingent offers with my clients that are buy-ups. And you and I are talking buy-ups, but if you don't know, a buy-up is somebody that's currently owns a home and they're ready to move up into the bigger home or move north end of the county, which you and I see a lot too. People moving to the south end and want to come to the north end. And that happens quite a bit too. You start down there with something you can afford and you got equity and now you're ready to go. So what I'm seeing a lot of is the type of contingency offers. And a lot of people don't know what they can do, what they can't do. So really quickly, contingent offers is when you own the home and you're looking for the next one. You can make an offer on that next home, but it's going to be contingent on the sale of yours, either because like you don't have the financing or you need the cash or whatever the situation is. Now, when you make that contingent offer, more often than not, that next seller is going to see your home on the market. So you got to be careful of that timing. Maybe have the listing paperwork ready to go, and once you find that house that you want, you list it right away or that day or that morning or even have it ready. Or you can have it listed if you got some contingency plans. I know some people can do things called rent backs, which means you sell your house, but the people that just bought it will rent it back to you for a little while you are waiting for your closing date on the next house. So that gives you a little bit of time. You don't have to go out and find a rental for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So that's always an option. Yeah, you just have to advertise it. You have to make sure you're in great communication with that listing agent, that buyer agent, that everybody's on the same page and there's constant communication. That is a huge part of this. Or I see some people like living with the parents for a little bit or, doing that kind of thing of temporary housing type stuff. But you really have to sit down and see what your situation is and kind of evaluate what you think is the most convenient. Like if you have a bunch of kids or dogs or it's just you and the husband or whatever your situation, we can find a plan that works best for you. But contingent offers just have to be communication. You got to be on the same page right away, and it's got to just work out. And Tim, you were talking earlier to me about the fact that you may not need to wait till it closes. Is that?
Yeah, so I actually have to thank a colleague of mine with First Home over in Hollywood, Jim Moran. He's the branch manager over there. He found a guideline recently and shared it with us just to make sure that we are aware that under Fannie Mae guidelines, you can actually purchase a home before the sale of your current home if you're clear to financing contingencies and the numbers work in terms of not needing the cash from that sale. So it's a small bucket of people, but you can do it. We just have to clear all the financing contingencies on the sale of your house, make sure that you can get a loan commitment letter from that buyer, and that the lender has completed the appraisal and all that kind of thing. So sometimes you can close maybe on the purchase of your house maybe a week ahead of time just to get that out of the way. So that's, it's a unique situation, but it can be done for sure.
So the timing's the biggest thing there, because you want to be sure everything's like done. Your ducks in a row. You're not waiting on inspection results, or you're not waiting on any of those things, because those can be little stressors for you. Like if you start that process before the septic test is done or before the water test is done, and something comes up, then you're in tough shape, right? So you got to make sure almost everything's done. You're ready to go.
To touch on that point, a lot of those buyers that I mentioned earlier that I've spoken to in the last couple months, and they're waiting for that perfect house, I am seeing a lot more rent backs. I'm seeing a lot more, hey, let me sell my house, move in with mom and dad while we find that next purchase, because the contingent stuff can be a little bit overwhelming. First of all, you're behind the eight ball with the seller as it is, but it can be a little bit overwhelming to have a timeline to not only sell your house, get your stuff packed up and get ready to go, but also go through the loan process and the purchase process. It takes a certain person to shoulder all that, and that's why people hire people like you, Billy, to help them navigate through it. But I am seeing a lot more people say, you know what, I'll move in with mom and dad for a couple months. We'll take our time finding that perfect house. And I have several clients that have been in family, living with family for a couple months now, just going out there and looking at other houses. So it's becoming more common for sure.
It is, because people are ready. They got the equity in their house. They're ready to move up. This is the time, and great timing. You're still getting those good interest rates. Honestly, I don't know if you were involved in all of them, but I think the Sammons team had at least 5 of them last year, where there's the buy and sells, and I think very few issues. We had maybe one, but that's because out of our hand, the buyer changed lenders halfway through the process and kind of screwed us up. But
I
don't think we didn't have that many problems. Everything went pretty smooth with them. It's just, like I said, communication's huge. You just got to everybody has to know what's going on, weekly check-ins, and just constant communication, over communication. Yeah.
Over communicate. So, I mean, you're just like me, and that's why we work well together, is that we go ahead and make that communication happen. We force the communication rather than waiting for people to call us, because you can't always count on them to do that. So to have a lender and a realtor and everyone in your corner that's going to force the communication and make sure that everyone's on the same page is really important.
Okay. Yes. Awesome. So the one thing we're also going to do with these videos, we're going to start throwing on a blog site, and I have a blog site name. We have Bitly at SS Learn.
It's backwards, but yeah.
It looks backwards? It's right on my side. Bitly.SS Learn. If I have to write it backwards next time, I have to look in the mirror and write it backwards next time.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, that'll be fun. It's just Bitly, BITLY/SS Learn. Sammons, Sisson, Learn. So all of the stuff we talked about, this video will be uploaded, thrown on there. We'll have links to information for you and stuff as well. And there'll be a blog page that we continue developing and working on, and throwing a lot of links and a lot of information for you. So in case you miss these lives, and we're doing them every 15th, you can check them out anytime you want. And we'll share the link, and I know Tim will share the link, and we'll throw some of Tim's blog stuff on there too. And if you have any questions, that's a great time to throw a question up there and say, like, hey, what about this, or what about my situation? And one of us will answer and help you out. So
I'm going to share some of I do a periodic mortgage blog, and I'm going to share some of my previous blog posts onto that website so that you can find them there. My most recent one was this past Monday. I did a blog post on online lenders, the Quicken Loans of the world, and maybe Amazon getting into the mortgage lending realm as well.
Free delivery.
Here Amazon Prime for a mortgage. Who would have known? So hear my take on that. I have a very specific opinion on it, and it might be different than what you think. So take a look at that for sure.
Awesome. So all the stuff's gonna be thrown on the blog. If you have questions, as always, let us know. Now get back to your tournament, see how your bracket's doing. The first game hasn't ended yet, so everybody's still a winner. We haven't got there.
I'll be a loser within the next couple hours for sure.
Yeah, the next couple hours. Yeah, I think Oklahoma's beating up on Rhode Island right now, at least when we started this. And I think Tennessee was beating up on Wright State. So
who's your winner?
I have Villanova winning. And the reason I have Villanova winning is because back in the day when I coached, I used to do all the coaching. We met Jay Wright on several occasions, and he was just always like a really good guy and helpful.
He looks like
he
he
always
would
said
be.
things like, "What's that?"
He looks like he would be. Yeah, in
great.
interviews and stuff. Yeah.
No, he was awesome. He would say things like, "Hey, if you guys ever need tickets to a game, here's my assistant's number. Here's our office number. Call us. We'll get you tickets. You can come. Blah 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 blah." And he was always like genuine, helpful, and gave us whatever we needed. So I just was a big fan of him personally. So that's why I follow Villanova.
I love it. I'm a Michigan State guy. Not that I root
Michigan
for them,
State.
but I just like the way they played. I probably watched them more than any other team this year.
Yeah.
And they struggled a little bit, but Tom Izzo and Miles Bridges, they're my winner. So we'll see how it plays out.
Michigan, the state of Michigan is well represented this year because even Michigan themselves run a little run here too.
Yeah, they're playing. They're hot. Anything can happen this year. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right, I may stop by the house. Either my brother's house or our house. We'll be around there. Tim,
Yeah, man.
stop by whenever, man. We'll be here.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
We might even sneak a beer or two in at some point this weekend. So who knows?
Some Guinness. St. Patty's Day.
Oh yeah. No, all right. So I have it, but it's in bottles, which doesn't count. Guinness in bottles. For all you watching, Guinness in bottles does not count as Guinness. That is if I'm in a rush. Yeah, I'm in a rush and I want to mix it. Do a half and half or a black and tan. That's. But if you're drinking Guinness, it's got to be in a can. It's got to be.
I defer to you on all beer knowledge.
That's it. All right, sir. Well, we'll probably see you this weekend. You enjoy yourself. Folks, like I said, look for the blog here soon. We'll have it up. And if you got questions, let us know. Tim, thank you again this week.
Yeah, thank you, Billy. I appreciate you having me, and we'll see you guys in about a month.
Where in Northern Maryland or Southern Maryland is Tim Sisson? We'll make a show out of it.
It's Carmen San Diego. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
All right, folks. Have a good day.